Hello friends and family, and welcome to the 2023 Pro World Championships presented by LL Bean. FPO Chase Card coverage brought to you by Ace Run Pro. This is our PDGA Major, and my name is Holly Finley.
And my name is Paige Shue.
Chase Card will be playing at the Fox Run course today.
The conditions are beautiful, low winds, there's tons of spectators out, and a lot of excitement for the final day of our major.
First up on the card, we have Henna Blomroos, 74% fairways hit and 56% scramble. Next up, Eveliina Salonen, first in C1 in regulations at 46% and second in parked at 13%.
Next up, we have Allie Smith, who's sixth in parked at 10% and is also 35% Circle 1 in regulation. And then rounding off the card is Valerie Mandujano with a 31% birdie rate.
Here we are on hole 1, a par 4, 565 feet. Starting off, your disc must pass over the OB area into the fairway, which is surrounded by out of bounds on all sides. Your second shot can either be conservative to play the hole for par, or you can try to get it all the way to the green to get a birdie look. You don't want to hyzer out left off the tee, but also it's kind of easy to try to pump it really far and turn it over too far right and be out of position for the birdie 3.
Finland. She is throwing for Innova champion discs. Can we put our hands together for Henna Blomroos?
All these ladies, I'm sure, excited to tee off on the final round. Looks like scores are kind of tight. It'll be some good action. So Henna throws a nice hyzer flip. That's pretty typical, but it can leak out left. If you let it get out of there, yeah, she ended up OB just by a little bit. That's the kind of the one mistake you want to avoid on this hole.
Aiming for that white tree or that rubber tee that Henna just went OB by is a good visual. If you get past that, I'd say you're in premium. Eveliina did just that between the tee and the tree.
Let's give a nice hand to Allie Smith.
Allie's had a pretty good season. She has a Silver Series win, and she had that awesome ace last round.
Yeah, if you want to see that, check out yesterday's coverage. Allie Smith's hyzer's looking like it's going quick to the left side, and she hits a stake and is back in bounds. We saw that same kind of luck for her yesterday.
It's a good way to start your round. Some good fortune coming your way already on hole 1.
San Antonio, Texas area. Woo! She is representing Discraft. Can we show some love to Valerie Mandujano?
Valerie with a lower shot than the rest, landing safely inbounds, just a bit shorter.
Yeah, this hole's really all about that second shot. As long as you keep it in bounds, there's lots of trees scattered throughout the fairway that'll give you tons of different types of lines and shapes. So you just kind of want to land in bounds and see what kind of lie you have.
Valerie's second shot gets her inside the circle, putting for birdie from 25 feet.
She made that look easy. That's a pretty tricky shot to get up to the basket.
It really is.
It's a pretty smooth forehand by Allie. She'll be just outside the circle. What I like about this hole is if you throw it out of bounds, you do have the opportunity to save your par if you can, you know, make the long approach and give yourself a putt.
This is Henna's third shot, stand still to 20 feet.
And Eveliina's in perfect position. Chooses to go the forehand route and gets well inside the circle.
Allie Smith for birdie. Oh, that was half in and then out.
Yeah, these baskets don't like the right side very much. They tend to push out a little bit.
Henna for birdie. It's in. Oh, wait, that was par because she went OB. That was a good par save.
Yeah, it's the kind of putt you want to hit on hole 1 to get your putter feeling good, the stroke down, and saving a par.
Mandujano's putt just a centimeter too low off the front of the cage.
Eveliina in the basket for birdie.
Strong start from Eveliina.
I would say this is considered a bonus birdie, so coming off with a 3 feels really good. Honestly, though, a par also feels really good. I'm sure either way you're gaining strokes on the field.
Eveliina with the only birdie here on this card.
This is hole 2. It's a par 3. It's 250 feet. It's pretty much a tight gap off the tee. You want to throw something slow, maybe putter or mid, just to get through the gap, maybe something slow turning and give yourself a putt. It's interesting to note that if you do hit early, bogeys can happen really fast. There's also OB deep if you push too far, and there is OB on the right, but it usually doesn't come into play. But you definitely have to have your scramble pants on if you do not hit the fairway off the tee.
Eveliina up first after a birdie on the first. A putter that hits a tree by the basket, and she's in the bullseye, putting for birdie from 8 feet.
Yeah, that's ideal. That's definitely the common mistake, is pulling it left, because you kind of want to get it to turn a little right, so you want to put it out left to let it move, but those trees come up quick, so it'll be tough for Henna to get up and down.
Allie's shot makes it pin deep. She'll have a birdie putt from 28 feet.
Yeah, that was a good skip. Valerie ripping on a mid, I think.
Ooh, maybe a koozie tap?
Yep. She'll have a nice look for birdie.
Henna only made it about 100 feet off the tee. So still a significant upshot and a lot of trees in the way. I think she might have hit her hand on the tree during that backswing. That's going to give her a 65-foot putt for par.
Yeah, that happens on this hole. You really need to get off the tee well if you want to not lose strokes. It's hard to scramble from only that far off the tee pad.
She just looked at her knuckles, so I'm thinking she did hit her hand on the tree. Tries to go for the long par save, doesn't quite make it. And Allie Smith
Is that a layup maybe?
was laying that up, which is unusual. I don't really see her lay up putts from that distance.
Yeah.
Maybe she just walked up and wasn't feeling it.
It's the final day. You want to conserve all the strokes you have. But Valerie makes a really good putt for her birdie. And so does Eveliina. Eveliina with a hot start. 2 for 2.
Henna makes good for the bogey. And Allie with an easy, no stress, drop in par.
you're outfitted for all that's out there.
Even the ordinary becomes extraordinary.
So here's to taking a moment to appreciate every moment, made outside together.
Ace runners, this is hole 3, a par 3, 300 feet, out of bounds on the right side, and a Mando. Disc must pass to the left of it. If not, you must play from the drop zone. What you want to do is throw a shot that crests the hill barely and trickles to the basket. Aiming for this white tree is ideal. If you land short of the basket, it's a nervy putt, and it might force you to lay up. A very fast green with OB behind the basket.
It's definitely one of the more technical tee shots on the fairway. Lots of trouble to be had.
Eveliina with a high hyzer hits a tree halfway down the fairway, and she lands short.
Valerie has a nice hyzer flip line. Has some good ground action, but she'll be outside circle, and that's a scary putt to have. I think most FPO are throwing probably fairways on this hole, just so you don't get too much movement, but you have the speed to reach the basket.
Allie Smith, almost perfect, trickles over the hill, but not quite enough to give her a putt, but should be a simple par for her.
Henna throws a nice hyzer, just getting through the gap. She'll probably have to lay up from there. It's a pretty scary gap off the tee pad.
It is. Eveliina pitches to that white tree, and she'll have an 18-footer for par.
Even the layups on this hole are hard. There are a lot of roots by the basket, so if you land just the wrong way, you can pick up fast. Allie's almost rolls pretty far away, but she's fine. She'll be well inside the circle for her par.
Ooh, Henna lays up, and she's a drop-in par. Valerie with the CTP and a very risky putt from 38 feet. Falls out right side, but a courageous bid.
Yeah, that's a gutsy run right there. Allie with a good putt for par.
I feel like the putt she just laid up wasn't much longer than that one. Eveliina in for par.
Henna also in for par along with Valerie. It's pretty typical to see all pars on this hole. We are on to hole 4, which is a par 4 that is 475 feet. There's kind of two ways you can play this. You can kind of throw a turnover over all the trees we just flew over and land in this landing zone. And then you want to pitch over all this OB, all this tall grass, and where this bridge is out of bounds. And you have a pretty wide green that you can land on, but the basket is perched on some rocks. And yeah, it's kind of a tricky green. But you can also throw straight, but most of the FPO are going to be going right, the anhyzer, over those trees.
Eveliina forehand off the tee to the middle landing area. Oh, a tombstone.
Tombstone.
Perfect position for her.
Yeah, if you do have this sidearm, it seems like that's the play. You just really want to just pitch something over those trees.
Valerie with a mid off the tee, which hopefully doesn't send you as long as that bush. And she has hyzered out of bounds on the left.
Oh, just barely.
And hopefully the spotter saw it actually crossed up there, and she can take it from up there, which is a much better angle. Allie with an aggressive turnover over the center bush that you want to miss. And wow, 4 feet
far
from the long, that is such a good shot.
Yeah, the bush can really, it comes into play, it can really prohibit you from having a look at getting up and down for the birdie.
Mm-hmm.
I think Henna's throwing a putter.
It looks like it, and she has landed next to Eveliina. They did give Valerie the spot up there, so that's beneficial. She can save par.
She throws a nice backhand hyzer. She'll be inside the circle.
Do you pick up the flags and give them back to the spotter?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
This is Henna's second shot. Standstill putter spike hyzer, and she is on the circle,
Perfect.
putting for birdie from 12 feet.
Eveliina chooses the forehand again. I like the forehand approach because you don't have to deal with all those bushes on the right side. She comes up just about pin high deep. She'll have a tester putt for her birdie.
Allie with the longest drive, but a little on the right side. It's no problem though. She's up there putting for birdie from 20 feet.
So Valerie has a chance to save her par here. She drains it dead center.
It's a good scramble. Allie Smith for birdie.
Beautiful putt. I love her putt.
Me too.
Eveliina just a bit high. This green is pretty tricky, and it can get windy on this hole.
It usually is very windy. These ladies are lucky today. Eveliina makes a significant comeback for par. Oh.
It's pretty typical to see couple birdies, couple pars on this hole.
Henna's birdie from the rocks.
Looks like Eveliina's leading the card right now.
Let's check out hole 5, a par 3, 455 feet, surrounded by out of bounds. Off the tee, the most common shot is an overstable driver starting out of bounds, swinging left through this gap, landing maybe about here. That'll give you a short pitch up for par. If you're not comfortable with that, I've seen a lot of players throw a straight shot and simply crash into that center set of trees and then try to scramble for par. What you don't want to do is start the disc in the middle of the fairway and let it hyzer out of bounds on the left. Also throwing too understable here and trying to throw really hard. I see a lot of people turn their disc over and it just never hyzers back in bounds. Allie Smith up first after a birdie on the 4th.
Oh, she plays a flip-up hyzer. I actually haven't seen someone do that.
Me either, and with this little to no wind, it worked out in her favor, and she's by the bridge.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see a lot of twos on this hole. It's a pretty far hole. So if you just hit the gap and you're able to give yourself an up and down for par, you're pretty happy. Oh,
Henna with a champion Thunderbird swings it right and then only 2 feet from being back in bounds.
that's pretty rough. She'll have to take it back pretty early.
She will. Eveliina with a more conservative shot doesn't send it out of bounds at all, crashes through the center set of trees, and she'll have a short pitch up for par.
It's like Valerie's doing the same thing, just ripping a wide hyzer, trusting it out over the OB and letting it fade perfectly through the gap.
Wow, in the ditch. Valerie might have a putt for birdie.
It's a scary putt to run. This green has a big slope with OB surrounding it, and rollaways can happen quickly. Henna has a hyzer approach, and she ends up just inside the circle.
Eveliina sends a putter right under the basket. Drop in par for her.
Allie Smith has to deal with some weird footing, but it should be a pretty easy putter up and down. Tap-in pars are really nice on this hole. It's nice to have a stress-free par because bogeys and doubles can happen real quick.
It's also usually windy here, and once again, these ladies are getting lucky with this green. Valerie has a legit putt for birdie from 50 feet. And she's under the basket for par.
This is a pretty scary putt. There's that slope on that side, and a lot of rollaways tend to happen on this hole, but she misses left and settles down, so she'll have a tap-in bogey. Or double bogey, I'm sorry.
Allie Smith in for par.
This is one of my favorite greens, at least in terms of the views on the course. You have that beautiful water right there and the mountains are in the back. It's very picturesque.
It's a nice swimming pond. Have you been in it?
Not this year, no.
No birdies here, which is rare to see anyway.
All right, we are on hole 6. It is 265 feet. Initially off the tee, you really want to throw a left to right moving shot. It's a backhand Anheuser or a forehand hyzer. There's tons of OB, so there's OB short if you kind of pull it. There's OB left if you don't quite get the turn that you're looking for, and there's OB on the right side as well if you turn it over too much. So there's a lot of OB, but the shot itself is pretty easy to execute. It's only 265 feet, so you just want to go high turnover and make sure it doesn't get too squirrely, too left or too right.
There is a short layup option, but the caliber of players we're looking at today, I don't think anyone's going to be laying it up short. They're all trying to get up there to get a birdie putt.
Yeah, Allie lands probably around circle's edge. Didn't get quite the turn she needed, but she has a birdie opportunity still.
Eveliina with a forehand hyzer leaves it a bit short. It's a 45-foot birdie putt on an elevated basket.
Even though it's only 265, it still plays pretty far because it's so uphill. Valerie opts for the backhand turnover and throws it perfectly.
In the bullseye, Valerie Mandujano with a Flight Factory run back. What a shot.
Perfect height, perfect angle, perfect trust. Just settles so nicely. Henna throwing pretty high. Maybe she's throwing something slower.
And her shot went over the wall, it appeared, on the right side, and she is out of bounds. It just was a little too inside.
Yeah, that's a pretty rare miss. I don't see that happen too much. Probably just didn't get the fade she was thinking she was going to get. That was a long attempt for Eveliina. She'll probably settle for the par.
Henna looking to save par, 45 feet, from a knee, just a bit outside.
Yeah, it's hard to get that height and that spin accuracy from a knee. Allie with a perfect putt for birdie. This is one I feel like we should be getting. I'm kind of disappointed if I don't get this one.
I agree. I feel the same way about hole 2.
Yeah,
Henna in for bogey after going OB off the tee shot.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You really don't want to be bogeying this hole. You're losing strokes to the field for sure.
Eveliina drops in for par. Hole 7, our first par 5, 1,115 feet. caliber of players we are watching right now will throw a massive tee shot landing somewhere near that short grass tee. The second shot is going to be pushing the edge of this bubble here. The third shot will be a putter or a mid going into the green from about 280 to 250 feet. That'll give you a look at a birdie 4. The green is surrounded by OB and everything else is as well. So the name of the game is just keep it in bounds the entire time and try to get a look at a birdie. Allie Smith with a high spike hyzer, and she is safe on the other side.
Yeah, you really just want to break this hole down into, 4 or 5 very doable shots. If you look at it as a whole, it can be kind of scary with all the OB, but just breaking it down shot by shot, it'll give you opportunities.
Valerie looked like she was going with more of a straight shot. She hit the center trees, made it to the other side, but then kicked OB. So she will get to advance beyond the ditch.
Eveliina with a nice flex line. There's a lot of space on the left side, more than you would think off the tee, so hyzering out a little bit too much will still keep you in bounds. And there's also that fence on the right where if you pull it a little bit, you can actually hit that fence and kick you back in bounds. But
just as you said that, she rode the fence. Henna's shot rode along the fence and came back in. I've been waiting to see that. This is Valerie's third shot because her tee shot went out of bounds, so she's laying up to that bubble. And if you see the dry hay spots, that's a good visual. And Valerie is out of bounds again, short and left.
Yeah, it's kind of hard with how many stakes are out there to really see like where the bubble is and where you're wanting to aim. So that's where like course preparation and spending time learning where your landing zones are is very important. So that will be another unfortunate stroke for Valerie.
Allie lands in the hay spot, so perfect position for her. And Henna just a bit past Allie.
Also, Eveliina just throwing a backhand hyzer right into the perfect landing zone.
This is Valerie's fifth shot. And she's laying up to the edge of the second bubble. Even though I called the hay a perfect landing zone, it looks like Allie had to do some high stepping over it.
I know you said maybe people are throwing mids or putters, but I know for me, I'm throwing a driver kind of out wide, and I think that's what we just saw here too from Allie, but wow.
And that's the problem with a higher speed disc. I'm seeing 80% of them end up OB.
It does. It comes up fast, and that was unfortunate play off that, wooden platform, but you really have to have speed and angle control and really aim out wide if you're going to go backhand hyzer with a distance driver.
Henna with a mid, and she lands circle's edge to putt for birdie.
Looks like a little bit of an early release for Eveliina. Oh.
Eveliina throws her rock long out of bounds.
Valerie also going with the backhand hyzer. She throws it very well. Maybe I'm the only one that throws driver. Looks like they're all throwing mids.
Did it land in bounds?
They did.
Well, do what works for you.
Right.
Eveliina gives it a long go, but ends up left.
Allie to save her par. Beautiful.
Allie Smith, what a great putter she is. Look at that scorecard. So clean.
So clean.
Henna for birdie from 28 feet. It's in.
Hey.
Oh, wait. Bogey.
I don't even remember.
I didn't remember her going out of bounds.
Well, that was a solid putt from her.
Yes, it was. Valerie in for a 7 here on hole 7 after 2 OB shots.
Eveliina will tap in. hole 8 is a big turnover. So it's 300 feet. It's a par 3. Really the name of the game is have your disc move left to right. I guess you could forehand as well, but there is OB along the right side if you happen to turn it over too much, or if you forehand and it fades out too much. And also if you do try a turnover and it fades out, there's OB left. But really, you just want to throw something high that's going to be moving left to right and give yourself a putt.
This is a new hole this year. Same area of the course, just a new design. And Henna's turnover is looking good. She's in the circle putting for birdie from 25 feet. This is a reminder to go watch yesterday's round. Allie Smith with a DGA sail. Beautiful turnover shot. Past the basket.
Wow.
60 feet past the basket. What a shot.
Yeah, the shape of that was really good, but just a little bit too long. She'll have a long putt for birdie.
Ooh, aggressive angle from Eveliina. Safe in bounds, putting for birdie.
Valerie also throwing the backhand turnover. And it's really hard to like trust your disc so high and turning right because you know that OB comes up fast. So it's pretty typical to throw it kind of low and short.
Allie Smith lays up from 50 feet.
Valerie running this one.
Valerie in for birdie.
It's a beautiful putt.
I knew that was going to get a Flight Factory run back. Wow, normally they don't catch on those high ones like that. I think the speed helped.
Beautiful putt. Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
It's the same spot that Valerie just hit the basket and Henna's fell out.
That was a good run, but she'll have to settle for the par. Eveliina with a great putt for birdie.
Henna taps in her par. As well as Allie.
Couple birdies and a couple pars is pretty typical. Scores are still pretty tight.
Missing. Taking the risk.
Here we are on hole 9, a par 3, 309 feet that plays slightly downhill, OB on all sides. If you want to be short and conservative, you can just play a mid or a fairway in the middle and leave yourself with a short upshot. Otherwise, I think trying to get to the green and get a 2 is a good plan here. You can aim for this big boulder, or you can swing it down the right side and let it hyzer in. I also see a lot of players just throw a straight shot. And the more common fun one is let the disc hyzer into the hill and then roll back in bounds. If you just need a little drama in your life.
That was a beautiful line by Eveliina. You know, if you really want to go for the green, you have to get some right turning movement on your disc, and that OB can come into play. But Eveliina throws the perfect shot, never really had any chance of going OB, and she'll have a pretty good look for birdie.
Valerie starts her shot on the left side and it works its way back to the middle. She'll have a putt for birdie. Champion Thunderbird from Henna. It's hyzering quickly but on the safe side of the hill. And she'll have a birdie putt from 45. Oh, wait, just kidding. Now it's 30.
It's a friendly little roll. Allie trying to throw a little bit of a wide hyzer. Barely misses those trees on the right. She's well inside the circle for her birdie. That's the risk. I mean, even a little bit more right, she could nick those trees and stay out of bounds.
Allie getting some knucks from the card for a park job. Valerie gives it a bid.
I love how aggressive she is on her putting.
I was just about to tell you, Valerie is not scared of a long putt.
No, she's not.
Henna gives it a go, but no connection for her. Allie Smith for birdie from 25. It's in.
Beautiful. Oh, her putt is just so up and down and center.
I know.
Makes it look easy.
It's very forgiving. Eveliina in for birdie from 20.
Beautiful stroke. Good par for Valerie. And a tap-in par for Henna.
And that'll wrap up the front nine, the final day of the 2023 Pro Worlds. Presented by LL Bean.
Yeah, we have a tight battle going on, but 9 holes left into the final round. There's lots of golf to be had, and we're excited to see the finish.
See Eveliina working for a podium finish. She's going to have to battle Holland, Lucky, Silva, and Allie, and Henna. So it's going to be a fun battle. And Ace Run would like to wish Conrad a happy birthday today.
Happy birthday, Conrad.
He didn't even tell us when we showed up for commentary. Gosh. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you'd like to support me, you can head on over to pharmacbd.com. Use code HOLLY until midnight tonight for 35% off. Normally it's only 20, so get over there soon.
Huge thanks to Ace Run Pro for putting this coverage together. We love watching FPO.
We'll see you on the back nine.